Hello, can you hear me, folks? Can you? No.
Just started the music over there, right? We're going to borrow that microphone. That's working. Try that one.
Hello, folks.
Yes, we can hear you.
I'm just going to tell you a story. My name is Mary, also known as Betty Badger. I've been coming to Defra for 5 years this summer. I think... Sorry, it's broken. I'm going to have to yell.
Try again.
Right, I've been coming to Defra, Downing Street for 5 years. I'm a really ordinary person. But in the olden days, I used to write letters to my MP. I went to see Grant Shapps and he said to me, "What's an intelligent woman like you worrying about a few badgers for?" And that made me so angry. So we all together marched, thousands of us, against the badger cull. But in the end, year after year, the number of badgers being culled went up and up and up. And it's now more than 177,000 badgers that are being killed. But my real journey as Betty Badger started 5 years ago. I was hanging around outside Downing Street, and a woman called Heather Allen came up to me with a badger costume. And at that moment, Betty Badger and I became one. And every week since then, we have travelled on this journey to raise consciousness about the slaughter of these innocent animals. Defra told me a few years ago, "Don't write to us again, we won't answer your letters." So instead of that, I come in the rain, in the sun, in the freezing winter, so that people know we are still slaughtering these innocent animals. And why are we blaming badgers? We're blaming badgers because we don't want to blame the farmers, because the farmers keep this political party in power. Right. Now, as some of you will know, I write a blog. And if you're interested in Betty's journey, you will hear about it in the blog. The two high points of my journey as Betty Badger were my appointment with Michael Gove and my recent appointment with George Eustace. When I met Michael Gove 2 years ago, he actually listened to me. He said, "Mary, why aren't we vaccinating cattle?" I said, "You promised us you'd be vaccinating cattle by 2015-16. And he looked at his civil servant and said, "Why are we not vaccinating cattle?" And his civil servant looked uncomfortable and said, "Oh, well, we've had a few problems." Within 2 weeks of my raising that with Michael Gove, there was an article that came out and said, "We are now making progress for vaccinating cattle, so you won't have to kill badgers anymore." But then there was a reshuffle. Michael Gove was replaced. And what happens? Suddenly, we're having problems with vaccinating cattle because they don't want to vaccinate cattle. They want to kill badgers. So 10 years later, we've made virtually no progress towards vaccinating cattle. That is the solution, not killing our precious wildlife. Now, I went to see George Eustace in March this year. I gave him all the arguments about the fact that, because of Tom Langton's report and many other reports, it is clear that killing badgers makes no difference to the outbreak of bovine TB. He laughed at me. I said, "Let's have a moratorium." He said, "No. He's going to carry on killing badgers, no matter what the science says." As he told me, "Mary, I have been leading this policy for more than 7 years.
Shame on him.
And I am not going to stop." This policy is not about science. This policy is not about rationality. This policy is about vested interests and the fact that Defra is being forced into a policy which will make no difference to the outbreak of bovine TB. We have spent £100 million on killing badgers, and it is clear that it will make not a blind bit of difference to the outbreaks of TB. So why do I carry on against the face of hopelessness? Why do I cry myself to sleep when I think about the badger cubs who are being killed at this moment in a supplementary badger cull? They're being shot to die slowly. They're not even being cage trapped. They're shooting their mothers, they're shooting their babies for nothing but to keep the National Farmers Union happy. So why do I carry on? There is a saying that says, all it takes for evil to thrive is for good people to do nothing. So I will carry on making a fool of myself, making myself ill, standing out here, perhaps being laughed at, but also being supported by people here in Defra because they know their policy is wrong. When I started this 5 years ago, I said I will not give up till we stop killing badgers. And here I am, 5 years later, nearly 70 years of age. I've gone through broken arms, I've gone through 2 lots of COVID, but I'm going to keep on coming back till we stop killing beautiful badgers, this wonderful species.
Well done.
Now, just thank you.